Hey folks, this is BestInSlot. Welcome to our brand new African zoo, Battuta's Trails. I'll explain the name in a little bit, but celebrating the brand new African pack that came out a little bit earlier on today, we're going to build a new zoo focusing entirely on those new animals and also on using as many of those items as humanly possible. Now, fun little fact, so what we're building here is what's called a medina. A medina in Northern Africa and in Malta and some other places, but primarily Northern Africa, is sort of a high-walled, tight corridored, historic part of a city. So we're building specifically, because I just found a photo that I fell in love with, Medina von Agadir, which is the Medina of the city of Agadir. Hopefully I'm pronouncing that correctly, I'm probably not. Agadir, which is a city on Morocco's south coast. So we're going to begin in Morocco, and we're going to go on a journey across Northern Africa. It is worth noting a lot of the animals in this playthrough will not be from Northern Africa, but the decoration pieces are Northern Africa themed. That's what Frontier have said. So, the theme. Battuta, could be Battuta, I think it's Battuta, given the spelling. Hopefully I got that right, was also a Moroccan. He was a travel writer. Should have got the date, but I don't have it on me. But he travelled more than any other explorer in history, in pre-modern history. So he was one of the first proper explorers, one of the first proper travel writers exploring the globe. And I thought that was a nice little theme for the park. It's obviously not going to be true to real life, but the idea is we're kind of following his journey across Africa, across all these different locations as he sees all these animals and stuff like that. I thought that was kind of sweet. It will end in horror, because of course it will. But the plan is basically for each exhibit to get gradually more horrific until it ends in absolute catastrophic destruction and horror. And it's going to start nice and pleasant and a nice, happy, chill city. Okay, so as you can probably tell from the thumbnail and title, there is no animal in today's video. To tell the truth, folks, I recorded this video initially 2 or 3 days ago, something like that, and I built a habitat for the meerkat, and I built like a temple kind of thing, and I completed it. It was done, it was uploaded, it was ready to go, processed, commentated, blah 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 blah. And I woke up today and I just thought, you know what, I don't like the build. I just don't like the build, and it had been gnawing at the back of my head for such a long time. I just couldn't get over it. And a few hours ago, whilst very tired, I thought, right, I can either commit now and do an entire new build just in time for tonight's video, or I can just upload the bloody meerkat and get over it. And obviously we didn't upload the bloody meerkat. I will keep hold of the meerkat. It's on a different save file. I can probably show you that very quickly. We may take it as a sort of a workshop item and bring it across, because I have already built it. I have still got the video I did for it, so it is potential for the future. But I just wasn't happy with it, and I'm much happier with this. This is very different. I can't really say this anymore after the Indian Bazaar, but this is still something very, very different for me. This is very building focused, all about little details, all about making pretty looking little buildings. It isn't 100% done. I had to get this finished pretty quickly in time for the video. It's still like a 3.5 hour build despite that. I actually had a lot of fun with this, I'm not gonna lie. I was basing some parts, particularly this first 2 building bits, off a photograph, but the photo only showed half of the Medina, so the other half kind of has to be made up, essentially. And all I'm doing is I picked like a nice little colour scheme that I like, these 2 browns, this sort of darker tan and this lighter creamy colour, and then we're going to offset that with some of these new mosaic ceramic tiles, and a lot of the other tiles as well in several different colours. And we're just going to build a really nice entrance area to the zoo, basically. It's going to have an information kiosk, it's going to have a ticket price area, it's got a little shop in it, blah 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 blah. And I never do this. I never build a non-animal area anymore. This is a long time since I've done this. But I surprisingly enjoyed it. It blew me away. I did not expect to enjoy it as much as I did. I think it's because I think it looks really cool. So, like, when it comes together at the end and it looks really nice, that, you know, gives me a lot of joy and satisfaction, I suppose. Because, again, I don't think it's something I'm good at, so when I do good at it, it makes me feel all warm and fuzzy inside. Just on a basic level, this kind of thing where I've got the path all over the ground and I'm kind of going to add extra stuff on top of it is, again, something I don't really do. But I see other people do it all the time on YouTube, and they always have like path all over the place and then lots of things breaking it up, and it always looks really cool, so something I did want to experiment with a little bit today. There will be an animal in the next build, I promise. Probably the rhino, actually. We'll talk about that later on, though. So anyways, I'm just doing some detail work. I'm just, again, trying to match up with the photo. Not really exactly. The game crashed about 4 times. It was my fault. I was using my pre-build thingamajiggy, my early access malarkey, and I hadn't updated it. When I updated that, it did stop crashing, to be fair. But boy, it made me paranoid every single time. I do want to address that very quickly as I just do some detailed work on this little side building here. You'll see a lot of these buildings don't have proper roofs, they don't have proper back detail. It's kind of like a movie set where you see the front and it's made to look like a real city, but if you ever looked behind the curtain, you'd see it's all made of wood and fakery, you know what I mean? At the end of the day, you're never going to see it, so I don't need to pretend it's real, you know? I had a couple of comments about this already. Today was the new animal pack, blah 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 blah, and I didn't do my usual video showing the animals and showing the decorations. Now I kind of regret that in retrospect, but given I'd uploaded already 3 times yesterday, and at the end of the day, Jurassic World Evolution 2 is kind of what the channel's focused on at the moment. That's not to say we're neglecting Planet Zoo or I'm not excited about this pack, because I definitely am. But it's to say more that we're doing okay. People are excited about Evolution 2, so it's got good views and stuff like that. So if I can maybe hold off on highlighting some of the Planet Zoo stuff in those kind of videos, the animal showcase or the decoration showcase, the kind of stuff that everyone does basically the same to some extent, it's just your kind of like character that changes it. I thought maybe we'll just let some other people do it this time around, you know what I mean? And I don't mean that in a cocky way or anything like that, but at the end of the day, we're all sharing views here on YouTube, so one less person kind of getting in the way. There was another crash back. That wasn't even a crash. Only happens with Planet Zoo, but my recording program just stops. I'm sure there's like a hotkey combination I'm hitting that I only have to hit in Planet Zoo, but I keep hitting it, and it keeps pausing my bloody recording. I didn't lose much. All I did was stack some circles of plaster underneath the fountain, trying out some of the new plants. All the trees are really cool, but they're all massive, which makes them very difficult to work with for what is meant to be a somewhat controlled little area. And the only other thing I've done is stick some pots over there by the doorway, as you can see. Yeah, anyways. So I figured we'd hold off this time around, and also I was shattered after last night. I'd been up all night. I hadn't had time to work on Planet Zoo, so it was nice to kind of chill for a little bit. I'm not particularly bothered about it, really. But apologies if you were waiting or counting on my videos. I think we'll probably do them again in the future. Just took this one off, basically. But I've got to say, this pack is really cool. I haven't spent too much time with all the animals. I spent some time with the meerkats, obviously. Really enjoyed it. But the new decorations are so good. They really are top-notch. I've missed decorations so much. I am begging that we never get another pure animal pack ever again. I'm sure some people love them, and that's totally understandable. For me, I'm more excited about the decorations than anything else, and I don't get that excited about the animal packs. So I'm all about these mixed packs more than anything. Ideally, we'd have 8 animals and some decorations, but we've got to prioritise a little bit. So I'm just building some slightly custom little plant pots. It's just plaster in a diamond square shape kind of thing, really, just to cover up some of the gaps. The path, there's a little bit of it that went super higgledy-piggledy, and I couldn't seem to fix it, so I kind of had to, cover it up with certain things. I'm pretty sure that happens to everyone, basically. And I just started to add buildings, basically. Again, it's very got that Indian bazaar vibe, not in terms of style or anything, but just in terms of how I approached it. Although I will say I think this is actually better. It's less detailed, it's less stuff, it is a much shorter build, but in terms of how it looks and the intricacy and the theming and colour coordination and stuff, I think it came together really nicely. Not to big myself up or anything. So we're going to do a little shop here. Ice cream, it's Africa, it's Morocco, it's bloody hot. Let's get some ice cream going. People really appreciate that, I'm sure. This let me try out some of the new stuff as well. I'm not going to find it for a little bit. It wasn't part of the plan, but there's this stained glass shop arch kind of thing. It's absolutely beautiful. It proper catches the light. There's a lot of new stuff in this pack. There's a lot of it that is, very Northern African themed. That's the idea. But there's a lot of it, like a lot of the plaster details, the stained glass, the new windows that we'll see later on as well. There's like windows that look like they've got light emitting from the inside. They're really cool as well. A lot of this stuff you could use in every single park with no problem whatsoever. I really recommend this. It's It's one of my favourite packs. And the animals look really cool as well. We'll have to wait and see about that one though. Using this as the new fountain thing, just like a water faucet. Drink hole, I suppose. Now at this point I was realising I needed a little bit more colour. There's a lot of brown, there's a lot of red. It was time for some blue. That was very much the colour theme from the start, was brown, red, blue. Don't know why. It doesn't particularly scream colour, but it's got this kind of earthiness to it. A bit of fire for the sun via the red, although it's more like a blood red, hinting at the future pain to come. But the blue as well for the water. We're going to do about 60 to 70% of this build because the right hand side, when you emerge, is going to be our first habitat. And it's going to be water themed, although it's going to be a rhino, you'll see what I mean. I've kind of got something in mind for this. I will say I don't really have anything in mind for the other builds, except for the Scarab Beetle. And a little something for the Fennec Fox, but I'm not sure. But for like the Meerkats and for the Penguins, I've got nothing particularly in mind. I'm sure I can find stuff, don't get me wrong. But if you want to throw out ideas, if you've got personal things, aspects of African culture in particular, or like hidden gems in Africa that you want to see come to life, that would be really cool. I'd like to... don't get me wrong, I'm going to revel in some cliches. We're going to have like a haunted pyramid with scarab beetles and hopefully a sarcophagus if I can find someone to pull it together. We're going to, you know, mess stuff up, right? We're going to go proper cliche Western interpretation of The Mummy. Okay, it's going to happen because I love those films, very much part of what inspires me. And I just love horror films of all descriptions. Whether it's a Western depiction of Africa or anywhere else on the planet, I just love horror films, and obviously I usually consume Western ones. I haven't seen any like Asian horror films that focus on Africa or something. It's interesting. Anyways, yeah, good idea, as I always recommend this. We're not using the back of these buildings. You will see them technically when you go through the corridor, but I'm going to hide those later on. Just put plants in the distance. They really do, like high ones, low ones, just create a little bit of different elevation, and they really do create a sense of distance and fullness and life. And if you just leave it as it is, it's a little bit boring. But if you just add a few things here and there, little palm trees popping up behind the buildings, it creates a sense that there's a world beyond what you're showing. And there it is, there's the glass. Oh, it's so good. You can see it, I'm going to swing around here, you can just see I was just testing it, you can see they're catching the light, and it's really beautiful stuff. I love that they've added this. Of course I'll show you all this in-game properly. It'll be very quick, there's no animals to look at, so I'll just do a little tour and we'll move on with our lives. I need to colour that blue bit, I just spotted that. That's fine. Anyways, there were pots and stuff in the actual photo, so bringing those in as well. I do have a new Pinterest account because I couldn't remember how to log into my old one, frankly. So I'll have to link that, but I'll probably forget, so do remind me at some point, probably tomorrow when I wake up, because I haven't slept in many days. Doing a little ceramic tile backdrop for our fountain, trying to be somewhat controlled with the tile, but it is beautiful stuff. The pattern is fantastic, and the way you mess around the colours really changes how it feels. Oh right, yeah, I need to finish what I was saying. So I am definitely going to mess around with like the mummy and all that cliche stuff. But, you know, like this, I would like to still bring actual parts of Africa to life. I'd still like to comment on, kind of like we did in the Southeast Asian Zoo, I'd still like to comment on some problems that some animals are facing and maybe celebrate some hidden gems of an African country. You know, Africa's a humongous place with such diverse culture and everything. It's hard to say. I want to celebrate Africa's hidden gems because there's like 20 billion of them, but you know what I mean. So if anyone has any suggestions of anything like that, feel free to let me know in the comment section. A little stay hydrated sign. There's no new signs, unfortunately, no new typing signs as part of the set. Really like these, what are they called? Lettuce panel? Lettuce? Something like that. These little panels anyway, they're just a good way to, you know, I don't need to do anything to them, just stick them on the wall. It just adds a little bit of detail, just makes it a little bit more interesting to look at without necessarily covering the wall in stuff. Now these are new lit up windows. It's called emissive glass or something like that, I believe. And thought I'd do some lighting stuff here. These are the new wall lights. These are really nice, really bright, and you can see there it just shines through. It's really cool. And if you get rid of the window frame, you can see even brighter. I wanted to turn them up. I wanted them to shine a little bit more light out. I think we can probably still do that if we try, but yeah, they're really... Oh, look at it. It looks like the building. There's people inside the buildings. I really like that. It's a really cool little feature. Anytime you've got like a tall tower or anything, or like a little building in the distance, and you know, you don't want to do a detailed interior or anything, but you do want it to seem like a real place. You can just use these new windows, and they bring the place to life at night time. It's lovely stuff. I'm going to use them again for this tower thing. So it's probably going to be noticeable, but all of this side on the left is more what I couldn't see in the photo. I basically had to make it up, essentially. And that's why it's probably less detailed and intricate in some ways. We really not got that long left to go. That's crazy. They do so much in the next 3 minutes. Oh, I have an itchy ear, sorry. So yeah, I figured like I've got this huge blank wall. I need to fill it with something. Let's fill it with foliage. So we're going to build like a little stepped plaster seating area, sort of. I did space out the bottom 2 steps. Not this one yet, but I will in a minute. So it looks like someone could sit down there. We're going to build a ticket office. I do still need to finish building the logo and poster design and all that kind of stuff for this zoo, so you won't see that until the next video. But I'll have that ready in time. Little things like this, you're not going to see inside the top of the building, so why have a roof, you know? There's just no need. It's okay to game the system a little bit, you know? Again, this stuff makes, even if you use it as like a few pieces, or you're using it in this like big swathe like I'm doing there, it just creates like a really nice backdrop. It's helpful to break it up a little bit because it can be a little bit too much, but especially if you're using more subtle colours like I am there, it kind of just looks like another wall because it's using the same colours that the other walls already do, but it just has a little bit more intrigue and excitement to it. I'm in love with the ceramic tile. It's really cool. The whole set, man, is so much fun to build with, honestly. I'm going to miss when we stop building like this little town and we end up building bloody an evil pyramid. I'm apprehensive about the pyramid because I'm going to build it brick by bloody brick. The entire thing. And I want to build it huge. I want you to see it from miles away. So it's going to take ages. Little ticket office here, just kind of blocking off this. I wanted the left-hand side to be blocked off entirely because the right-hand side is where the first exhibit is going to go. I'll admit that wasn't originally the plan, but by this point in time I was running out of time. I didn't know what else to do on that right-hand side anyway. It would feel lackadaisical if I just kind of shoved things in, so instead we're going to put an exhibit there. And I did find some really nice inspiration for the rhino habitat anyway, so we'll do that in the next video. Exciting times. Yeah, just a little bit of detail work, just chucking stuff in, just trying to come up with ideas more than anything else. Using roughly the same plants, roughly the same materials, always the same colours. You see a lot of red and blue. It's kind of like, what's red and blue? Red and green's Christmas. What's red and blue? I don't know. Candy cane. No, that's red and white. No. Why am I thinking of the Christmas? There's some stuff, I'm sure there's something that's red and blue, but I can't think of it. Red versus blue, there you go, it's a Halo thing. This is the internal struggle of our Medina as the Halo warriors battle each other. Again, just, you know, this is a hollow wall, you're not going to see the other side, so let's stick some plants there. Again, just make it look a bit more interesting. Stick some lights on the wall. It isn't probably going to be a nighttime focused zoo, but these are the lampposts in particular. Look at that lamppost. It is a beautiful thing, and I want to use them all the time, so I'm going to spend the time lighting basically everything. Also did something I like this a lot. The fountain, just put the African lamppost, the old style ones, over the middle, and it makes like a lit up center column kind of thing. I thought that was really cool. I was quite proud of that. Okay, there we go. So I'll hop in game. Like I said, this part should be pretty quick. I'm just going to give you a little tour. We'll talk a little bit more about the future of the build, all that kind of jazz. I'll see you in a second. So we'll do a little daytime tour first of all. Like I said, this whole thing needs maybe another half an hour of detailing work to bring it together, but I just ran out of time if the video was going to go up tonight in time, just because I had to scramble it together at the end. So the right hand side is currently empty. That's because this is where the habitat is going to be. Basically, I think it's going to be a kind of like, I think it's a little call to the Nile River a little bit, but it could be any river really. And there's going to be like a nice seating area here, very, again, warm and professional-ish looking and friendly and kind of like just, you know, themed around the rest of the Medina. Seated there, or along here. We'll put a building here probably, and then seated there. And then there's going to be a beautiful river, and then on the other side of the river, the rhinos are just going to be able to roam and gaze and graze. Gaze and graze. And, you know, have a lovely time. And I don't think there's anything particularly special about the build. I'd love to come up with something to make it pop a little bit more, but I like the idea of having like a seating area where you can sit down and You've got the lights and the flames nearby and like little fire pits, and you can just look across the river to see the rhinos gallivanting. I think that sounds really nice. So, anyways, here is the park. On the left, this is where we'll have the... I have built the zoo logo. Well, sort of, I stole a logo. And, you know, like times and stuff like that. Just general zoo nonsense that I'll build in Photoshop at some point. My information kiosk, this lovely... Look at this new stained glass. Isn't that beautiful stuff? One of my favourite new items. Really, I hope they add more of these items. There's only 2, I believe. Have a little check. Yes, there's a normal panel, and there's that thing. But I'd love to see a little bit more of that, because it's really cool. Just different shapes and stuff. Little seating area over there. So this is basically, this area here is where it needs a little bit of a detail pass. This was the last bit I was working on. This whole wall needs a little bit of love. But beyond that, I'm pretty happy with everything else. So we've got our lit up fountain there in the middle, churning away. Little seating area here by the lampposts, and some, you know, plant pots over here, of course. There's our just general nature zone, I suppose. I don't know what else you would call it. I'm going to grab very quickly a tree and just move that up there. See what I mean? Just having that there. I'm actually going to add a second thing. Bear with me. Make sure it's a little bit lower. Let's turn off align to service. Align to surface. Already makes that look so much better to me. Just makes it look like there's stuff going on behind this little area. Anyways, little seating area, chill area, grab a drink, relax. Needs something... I didn't see all these. I think I'm going to end up blocking this building off, really. Again, the same deal up here. The plants are kind of floating and in weird locations, but there's like this weird wooden trellis thing. I don't really know what it was, but it looked like a rooftop garden, so that's why I wanted to get across there. There's our tower over there. There's our entranceway to the next habitat, so the rhino's going to be over here, and then you're going to walk forward here, and obviously on this side, it's a bit of a disaster, but what we can do is just sort of... I like the idea of, first of all, having like a really thin corridor where it feels like the city is right next to you on both sides, so we can kind of just wall along here as we go, and then lead up to whatever it is we're going to do next. I need to plan it out a little bit more. But yeah, I was really proud of this. This is where we started off. This was my first time messing around with all these tools and stuff like that. That's off center. It's breaking my heart. But again, this ceramic tile is beautiful stuff. I think you'll agree. And a little rooftop garden. Again, this doesn't have to make sense. There's gaps everywhere because when you're down here, all you see is the plant life and a little bit of a doorway. And it just looks like a nice building. This is the top of the shop. Got a doorway there, and then there's the shop there with a little bit more stained glass above. And this new awning thingamajiggy as well. And then over here we have a little stay hydrated section, our little faucet doing faucet things. So again, just a little thing, and some of the windows up there, and yeah, just general stuff. That's about it, folks. Like I say, it wasn't going to take long. There's not much else to show you. But when it's like that, I think when this has got people in it as well, there's people milling around in this area, I think it's going to look, and I've done something over here in this corner in particular. I don't know what I'm doing over here. Maybe like a little shop. I could build a little shop, you know, put some stalls in there and put some of the plates up and stuff like that. I could do that, yeah. I'll do a little shop for the next video. Do a little shop in there, and I'll just general decoration over here, and it'll be done. And when people are milling around and stuff, I think it's going to look like really lively and colourful and exciting, but very sort of warm and cozy at the same time. And then rhinos, probably. Right, so we'll do a little look at nighttime as well. I love these lampposts. Absolutely in love with these lampposts. They're so, like, regal looking in a way, but again, warm and cozy, and I'm in love. But yeah, like I said, I did try to light up. I might move you over here. Are you in line with that? Yeah. Did try to light up the whole thing as much as possible, just to... I wanted it to feel like a real place. You know, I wanted it to feel like people lived here, and tourists come here, and people go to work here and all that kind of jazz. Love the fountain. This is like my favourite thing. All I did was stick some lampposts over the middle of this section, but I think it's a really cool effect if you don't look at it from this side, which I didn't realise till now. I'll have to fix that. And yeah, there's our little stay hydrated section. I might build a custom sign for this. This was just the only African custom sign there was. These little stained glass lights as well. Oh, beautiful. You see those lights in action? If I just get rid of this to show you. That's what the emissive light looks by default. Cool, innit? They're not quite as bright as I would like, but beyond that, they're very cool. I'm wondering if I could maybe... I wonder if you can make them... I wonder if you can make them brighter. I don't get the feeling it like emits light, it's just kind of an effect on the thing, basically. So, we'll have to try adding our own little shop area. You can't actually use the shop. I can't get the path to cross over there, so I just covered it with sand, and I don't think you can really notice. I'm not that bothered about my guests and stuff. I just wanted it to look a little bit more realistic more than anything else, you know? So, whether people can use it or not is kind of irrelevant to me. Little trellises, little columns, little details, little ceramic tile in this. I don't know what this is, but it looked something like this, and I thought it looked pretty cool, so I integrated it. Really like how this came out as well, this whole area. I'm really happy with it, I've got to say. Like, I really am this happy with my building builds, but this... Especially, like, when you don't look over to the right, but you're kind of, like, here. This area is a little bit dead, but it is like a plaza area. You would have room for people to mill about. I think as soon as I can get stuff in there, it'll come together really nicely. Right, well, there's basically nothing else for me to say. So, next video, rhinos. I am open to suggestions for both the rhinos and every single other animal. You know, there's nothing set in stone at this point in time. You know, I like this to be a collaborative effort as per usual. I do have some rough ideas for the rhinos, and we'll probably do those to an extent. I like the idea of this being like a sharp drop-off here. Like it goes at the edge, and you sit at the edge, looking over the gap to the river and then to the rhinos on the other side. So we're going to dig straight down here and then build it up to that side and have the rhinos over there. But then, if there's anything special about their exhibit, you know, that's up to you guys as well. And especially what we do after this, because this is a whole world ready for us, basically. Can be anything we want. So, that is Battuta's trails, even foraging his trail throughout Africa. He actually did a lot of the Middle East and Afro-Asia and all this kind of area, but focusing on Africa. And that's it from me. Thank you so much for joining me. I will see you lovely folks in that next video, which I promise will have an animal in it. Very exciting. Thanks for joining me. Cheers much love as always. Oh, remember to throw me a like if you enjoyed the video. Subscribe for more Planet Zoo, and there's a playlist linked in the description if you want to follow along with this specific build. Thanks for joining me. Cheers much love as always. Bye-bye. Reaching out.